Welcome to episode number 148 of the Eavesdrop, award-winning Eavesdrop podcast, brought to you by Shopify. We'll tell you a little bit more about them later on. We have my man, yes, AA9.
Let's go.
Right?
AA9Skillz's.
Okay, A9?
Yeah, A9.
Bro, I always get, we've been acquaintances for a very long time. Yeah. You were here. We just looked at the wall, and I do have a little bit of dyslexia, so sometimes I call it you know how it goes.
You good.
And then it's real A9Skillz or real A99Skillz. I'm always like in between both.
A9Skillz. Everybody always calls me Skills, but A9Skillz. But then like Instagram and TikTok, I could only get like the real A9Skillz. Yeah. So you have to throw the real in front. But yeah, A9Skillz.
Well, if you need help on that, who uses the other ones?
I don't know.
If you were to choose like your name, your
A9Skillz,
A9Skillz,
because I have that everywhere. YouTube, Twitch,
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. It's just Instagram and the new ones, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, dude.
Because I'm old head, man. I've been around for a long time.
Yeah. When did you start doing all this? I mean, let's do it in order.
Yeah.
There is a process.
Yeah.
So last time you were in the HECZ quarters, we were just talking about coming up the elevator. There was nothing here. It was just me, Matt, Alan, and maybe a desk or two, but none of this was like developed. And at the time, we had an office right down there, the optic office, but I had to get this one as a safe haven for whatever. And yeah, we were at a FIFA event right across the street at
I think it was
Dallas?
MLS
the
tournament.
MLS,
yeah,
the EMLS,
That's
EMLS,
yeah,
esports Major League Soccer. What do you still like? How did you? Yeah,
the pro scene. So it's interesting, man. Like I started as like a career mode guy. You know what I mean?
Career mode, yeah.
Yeah, on FIFA, kind of just like, and this was all the way back in 2010. Just my players, career modes. FIFA 17, they dropped this pro scene called Foot Champs. No one knew I really played, and then I ended up getting like #1 in the world, all this stuff, and I kind of competed. And then when I got with my manager, he's one brought me to the pro scene.
Were you making videos like when did you?
Yeah, so 2010, I started on. Remember, it was called Justin TV.
Justin TV. Oh my god. OG.
Oh my god, dude.
Okay, well let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Who are you today? Let's start there.
I get, man. I don't know. That's
a
hard
question, right?
Because like, dude, you know,
that's why I asked it.
You're old head. You just your career changes so much. I would say I'm an influencer. Right? Okay. Like that word. I don't know, man.
Would you say influencer, creator? Creative,
content creator.
Yeah. I like creator better.
Me too.
The second and I know that it's so easy to just say influencer, and it's so like everybody understands it. If you go to any like middle grade school, like you ask kids what they want to do, and they immediately scream influencer. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like influencer is what brands called us. Yeah. The creators that were digital, people that created content for people to consume. Yeah. And they saw that as like, well, we got to get creators or influencers that have influence over an audience and blah blah. So they're the ones that coined us with that thing, and it caught on. Too big of a word to run away from. I don't see it as an insult or as a bad word, but I personally, in some cases, I have described myself as that. But
if you ask me right now, I'm a YouTube FIFA content creator.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the core of what I've always been. You've always talked about, I've seen your stuff so much where you're like, your main channel is your baby. Yeah. And that's just what it is for me, And so that if I had to point at one thing, I would say FIFA YouTube content.
Yeah, FIFA, that's your thing. Have you ever like strayed away from that and done no Call of Duty, dude?
And I tried, dude. That's too hard, man. I don't know how y'all do it.
Well, I don't do it anymore, but
that is crazy. But now I with TikTok now, I've kind of more gone like the football soccer route of just talking about you know what I mean, and kind of got away from FIFA. But now I've always been FIFA and Madden.
FIFA and Madden. Yeah. You're a sports dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you're from DC. DC. Yeah. So did you grow up in DC? You were born in Lisbon, right?
Yeah. No. I'm Portuguese, but my parents are Portuguese. I was born here.
So you're first generation?
Yeah.
American?
Yeah.
All right.
So the only one out of us was my brother, who like lived in Portugal.
Got it.
So
he's older?
Yeah, he's my older brother.
Gotcha.
But yeah, man, I'm from here and I grew up in DC, but we went to Portugal like for a month every year.
Really? That's amazing. So that's something that my family and I have never gotten right, like the taking the vacations, and obviously my mom and dad, super hard workers, etc. But that is something that I do wish that they would have. And look, I'm not trying to put expenses on top of whatever they already had, because I didn't know back then, but I think that
Well, it shows you life, because when we went over there, my grandparents are from like the hills, man, like farms and raising pigs
Love
and cows. So you just, it's a different, it humbles you big time. You know what I mean?
So do you still go once a month?
We haven't been. Nah, we haven't been for a long time.
Nah, why?
Nah, I don't know. I want to take wifey. She's never been.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, dude. But my grandparents passed away.
Okay.
So if I went over there, it would kind of just be a couple cousins, but nobody really.
Nobody that you kept in touch with.
Nah.
You know, growing up, I had like 15 cousins, like same age or same age bracket. Like we hung out, all that stuff, and you know, as life happens, and because there were so many of us, like you know, a lot of them still like you know get together and do that. And obviously now that I'm in Texas, it's a lot harder for me to do that. But I was talking with my wife, and I'm like, man, you know, out of my grandma on my mom's side, they had 11 kids. My mom was the middle one, 6. But out of it may have been like 7 years ago, where we were at one of my aunt's parties, and they had a family tree.
Yeah.
And out of 2 humans, 101 people spawned. Okay, so my 2 grandparents gave birth to 11, who gave birth to kids, who gave birth to kids.
Crazy.
And 101 people, and that was back then. You know how many kids have come since then on my family? So many.
Yeah.
So I want to do like this massive like I don't know, family reunion on my mom's side. On my dad's side, you know, there's not that many people, but they're invited also. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've stayed close with one cousin through it all. And like you said, I grew up with so many, but one I've stayed like extremely close with. But
from here or
nah,
back home?
He's back in DC. So yeah, man. And
that's what I mean, like from the States stuff.
Yeah. I stay close with him, but I say really. So yeah, man. I wait, what were we talking about? We're talking about this beginning, right?
Yeah. So you're 35 now, right?
What am I, babe? 33, 34. I'm something, dude.
Matt said you're 35, so I'm gonna say you're 35.
I think I'm under, right? I think I'm 34.
34.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm up there. But dude, I started in 2010.
Yeah, 2010. 2010. When was 2010?
Oh my God.
Was that what Call of Duty was that?
Oh, dude, it was the one where Chris Move was huge. Remember Chris
of course.
Move? Yeah,
Modern Warfare
dude.
2.
It was somewhere around that time frame.
Modern Warfare 2 for sure.
Maybe a little bit earlier.
Modern Warfare 2 was 2009, so 2010 was Black Ops 1. Anyway, Chris Move. I remember Chris Move.
You do? Okay,
of
so
course.
so I was doing YouTube during his time.
Chris Move. What was the other guy that was he like an NBA 2K guy? Chris Move.
Yeah. And he did Call. He was do that would always be like
black dude, right?
Yeah, and he was like Noob Move and with the claymores and stuff. The dude was incredible, man. Made good content.
One of the OGs for sure.
Yeah.
Never got to collab or talk to him, but obviously his work obviously transcended a lot of stuff. So everybody got a hold of him.
Yeah, it was crazy
because he was one of the partners. I see him right here. 5.1 million subs. Too. Is he still? Is he still going fucking hard?
I think he does like NBA highlights now.
Yeah.
So he's like one of the So he got like some type of like actual first person to be able to do actual highlights. So he does like NBA highlights.
So happy, bro. 8 hours ago he uploaded a video. That is so.
Still
shout
going.
out to, again, he and I have never spoken. We've never collabed on anything. I don't think we even follow each other. But obviously, like, still longevity, right? And you know this is the toughest thing to be.
Oh my God.
To be.
The fact that I'm still here is mind blowing. I tell her all the time, like it's nuts. So yeah, I started on Justin TV. Streaming there.
Yeah.
My brother told me about it. And
so tell me what DC was growing up. Like how did you like come across video games and why? Like obviously, you know, growing up as in what is that, like 1990 something?
In the 90s.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Michael Jordan and sports.
Wait, how old were you in the 90s though? I'm 42.
Yes.
About to be 43 in February 9th. In 1 month, I'm gonna be 43, and I can't believe it. I'm at heart 26 years old. I think I stopped maturing at 26, and I just stayed 26 this entire time.
So you got prime Jordan locked in.
I watched Jordan live from the nosebleeds.
So I was probably like 10, 11, right around there.
No, you couldn't, because I was 16 in 96.
Yeah. So I want to say I was like 6, 4.
You know, old enough to remember the greatest of all time.
Yeah, a little
undisputed.
I think he's the greatest, but that's because he impacted my life. And then going back, like DC was so sports, man. That's what everyone did. It was either American football or basketball, and then a little bit of soccer, but it was just sports, man. DC's very much just hip hop music and sports, and that's what I grew up on, man. So it was.
What did you listen to back then?
Man,
because you're from the East Coast, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, that's best hip hop.
Biggie, Tupac, Dre, M. Grew up on M, man. So for me, M's the the greatest rapper.
Lyricist.
The music, there's people who do better.
Yeah, Drake.
Drake.
And look, I can't tell you the last time I asked Siri to play a Drake song.
Yeah.
You know, people like even Kanye from Chicago never listened to a single song of his. I mean, obviously, like if it's in the club at the time, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what am I gonna be doing in a fucking club at 42? Besides, you know, and I have 2 left feet plus motion sickness. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be out bounce with people, right? But I'm not gonna be dancing.
Wait, you got motion sickness?
I don't. It's just what I say to say that I.
You know, that's why I don't play COD.
No.
You're crazy, dude. I get like when it starts moving too quick, my stomach goes nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I believe you. That happened to me when I first started playing Call of Duty 2, but I forced my way through it because I'm like, I love this game,
dude. I loved COD so much that I put on little patches.
No, you fucking didn't.
I asked my wife, bro. I put on the patches that you're supposed to put on when you go on the boat.
Yeah.
I got a good hour in. I felt good.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, too much, and I take it off, bro. But yeah, the game's amazing. I just wish I was better. But yeah, man, music. DC is music and hip hop and sports, and so. For me, I think that's what influenced. And the area I grew up wasn't the best, so I think like Madden, FIFA, kind of kept me inside, away from all of that stuff.
Yeah, look, every single time I talk to Castro or you know someone like you, like I admire the fact that Chris Move even, right? Because like who really is like massive besides obviously Sidemen, obviously FIFA, right? But like there's no real professional players that play this thing at that level that are that have seen the level of success that people like you and Castro have.
Yeah.
What do you? I have a theory. We're talking about it that we think it's because Messi's going to be Messi no matter what. So you can't get famous off of being Messi because Messi already exists. Yeah. So until they, a soldier, you spawn in and you're a random soldier. Like it is you.
Yeah.
What do you think it's lacking in terms from an esports perspective?
But just like an esport person being able to go into like content.
No, not necessarily content, but just like grow off of it, right?
No. That's an interesting one because they're the FIFA players, from the content creators to the pros, are like levels, right? So you would think that they instantly would have massive success with an audience, but I just think it's the personalities, man. I think being able to connect with an audience and be real with an audience and your audience be able to just feel like they're a part of you, you know what I mean, is important. And I don't know, man, I've never understood it. I'll be honest with you. To this day, I'm like, why do people watch me?
Oh, no. I mean, that's easy. That's easy to understand why people watch you. I'm saying like those people, like the people that competed that one time, like I went back and I looked and I'm like, man, I wonder, like these are all like good people, good personalities. Like why don't they have
one of my best friends competed there.
Yeah.
And I've been close to him for a long time. And I think that they don't, I think it's something in us, dude, that like when we get in front of a camera, we can just go. And I don't think a lot of people have it, you know what I mean?
Introvert.
Yeah, I think that's maybe what it is, but they're incredible at the game. I just think that little switch needs to be, you know what I mean? Because when a camera comes on with you, it's just, let's go.
Yeah, but also been doing this since 2009, 2008 maybe.
Long time.
Wait, how long? 2000 and when was Call of Duty 4? Yeah, for a long time. Man, it's one of those mysteries because people are like, say, hey, when are you gonna start? When are you gonna expand to FIFA? Right? Obviously, you're with Complexity. Yeah. Complexity has a team, and I never have like the right answer for it, right? Because I'm not, although I do believe wholeheartedly that in 10 or 15 years, like esports will be as big as traditional sports.
Yes.
Otherwise, who cares? Like we're still doing what we love to do, and and we benefit by creating something, and that's our reward.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, like right now it's a building is the building step of that platform. So for us to just compete makes no sense.
Well, that's I'll jump on this for a second because what COL is doing, trying to like build something there. You're trying to build something, but the company that makes the game's not really doing it right. Does that make sense?
Who?
EA Sports.
EA Sports, yeah.
I think the
pros. And you have the voice for EA Sports. It's in the game.
Yo, because when I started, there was no camera.
Yeah.
So it was just my voice.
And people thought that you were the dude.
I'm telling you, I think the voice is what got me there.
Yeah.
Then I put the camera on and people were like, oh, wait a minute. But nah, I think
people thought I was white for the longest time.
Really? So my boy KSI, you know KSI?
Yeah, of course.
So for the longest, I came up with him.
I snuck him into a couple of Twitch parties when he was like 18.
Yeah, all right. So I came up with him and we would be in Skype and we didn't have cameras back then. So he, for the longest time, he was like, hey man, you're Barry White, you're black.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm white. Like, I promise you. He's like, black. We finally met 2011 in England. And when he saw me, he's like, oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were black.
You're not him.
No, you're not that guy, dude. But yeah, I think the problem, and the one thing I'll tell you about going into esports with FIFA and Madden and stuff, I just don't think it's there yet. You know what I mean? I think it can get there.
Yeah, same.
But I think that it takes the company that's running the game to want it to get there.
What do you think is holding them back, or do they not know what to do? Or?
Nah, for EA Sports, I think it's two things. I think they're making the game very like casual friendly, but at the same time they're trying to push a pro scene.
Okay.
And you got to pick your poison.
Amen.
You got to do it right for the casuals, or you got to do it right for the pro scene and let the casuals get to that point.
What would you pick?
I think the game's too casual. I think that game should be hard.
Yeah.
I think that it helps. I think that stuff being hard helps you get to a place better in life. I think gaming can help kids. You know what I mean? I think it helped me. I think that it's the thing that, you know, you want to get upset when you lose.
Yeah, man.
You want that feeling. Yeah. You don't want to get a reward for coming in third and fourth. Yeah, come on, man. I think that needs to be there. So I think the games are getting too easy, man.
Yeah. When I say shit like I just said, where I'm like I think it, you know, for me, competing and winning trophies is very important, but not as important as creating content, because without the content and without that relatability, you know, this thing won't grow to that. It takes relatability from the professional players to be able to garner enough interest for people to follow along the story. And every time I say that, it's like, well, you don't care about winning. All you care about is that. I'm like,
yeah.
What? Say it again?
Yeah, no. We've done it.
It's right here, right? Like it's but we never sacrificed not doing the additional work in the content that allowed it. So when I, like as I was saying, when I talk to you or people of your stature that have been able to achieve what you guys achieved on video games that aren't necessarily that popular in esports, like I'm always like, all right, so it can work. It's just it hasn't been dialed in appropriately.
Yeah, 100%.
So what was high school like back in DC in your time?
Man,
and then give me the frame. Like, what years were you in high school?
Man, we're talking dinosaurs, right? I want to say
dinosaurs would be me, 1994, 93, 97.
I want to say 2000s and like 3.
Yeah, so you had phones already.
But the Nextels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where people were, you know what I mean? I didn't have one until my mom and dad didn't give me one for a while. But my high school was cool. It was cool, man. I liked school, but it was a lot of gangs.
Yeah.
So in my school there was a lot of gangs. A lot of my friends got.
What are the names of the gangs? Do you remember?
MS-13.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It was terrible, man.
La Mara Salvatrucha. Salvatrucha.
It was tough, man.
Yeah.
So I liked.
Who did they go up against?
They went up against a gang called Southside Locals.
Okay.
And it was
locals or locals?
No, locals.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was so I grew up in a very black and Spanish like area. And it was
Spanish or like Hispanic,
like everything.
Okay.
So there was a lot of like MS-13s from El Salvador. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of.
I mean, they've stretched their.
Yeah.
They've diversified.
Yeah. So recently, like in DC, the president just did stuff our ex-president did stuff to try to get rid of MS-13 because it's so bad out there. It's awful, man. So going to high school was cool, but then there was that after high school where you just didn't.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that the government gets involved in those levels, but they do nothing to put impoverished communities.
Yeah.
In a place to where kids are not going to grow up wanting to do illegal shit to be able to get the shit that they want.
100%.
Right? So it's like you can't punish without helping at the bottom or nipping in the butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So DC's a place where it's extremely expensive to live out there, right? So every one of my friends, their parents were gone, right? They're busting their ass trying to just pay the rent. So then the kids home by themselves, what do they turn to? You know what I mean? So many of my friends got involved in that stuff. So and it just made high school suck, man. But it was still fun when you're with the boys. But then like the fights after school and all that was just terrible. So after school, I just got home and played FIFA. Mm-hmm. And what I enjoyed playing my entire life ended up being my job.
Did you play soccer in high school?
Yeah, and American football. American football more, but a lot of soccer. Yeah. A lot of soccer, but like I said, man, it's one of those things where sports, gaming, music keeps you away from dumb
keeps
shit.
You indoors. Yeah. What like drew if you were a football player? What drove you to football, traditional soccer football?
So to soccer,
like why not why FIFA instead of NBA 2K or NFL? Madden, sorry.
So my first remember is being like probably like 2, 3. I don't even know what I was. but we were in the basement, and my dad just would have these Benfica games on, which is a Portuguese team.
Yeah.
And he would just be going crazy, right?
Screaming and shit?
Screaming, him and my uncles yelling at the TV, and I'm just sitting there watching as a kid. And every Sunday, they would go somewhere to watch the games. And I would just be like, yo, Pops, let me go with you. So soccer was almost like a bonding time for me and my Pops and just me and my uncles and stuff. So, yeah, man, grew up, and then I became obsessed, right? To the point where, like, you know, I got Fox Soccer Channel on, I'm watching games repeated. I know every league, every team, and that's what drove me to it, just like roots of the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What made you decide to turn on the webcam? Like, who did you see and you were like, holy fuck, I got to do this thing too?
Dude, it's this, like, so I worked at Saab. You ever heard of them? The car company, Saab.
Yeah. Oh, SAAB.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they went during the recession. They went under.
Okay.
It was 2008.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Are they still around?
No.
Oh,
they actually went
crazy.
under. So they had
Maddie,
to.
have you ever heard of that brand? Saab?
They're big Swedish, right? I don't know. I think they're Swedish.
Yeah.
So I worked for them, and what I started as a porter. My uncle, my cousin, the one I'm close with, he was a mechanic. So I started as a porter, and then got to the point where I was like detailing cars, buffing cars, and they went under, so they had to let everybody go. So they let me go. I'm on unemployment.
And how old were you at the time?
I don't know.
20 something?
21, 22.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, 20. So I'm at home. I'm on unemployment. I'm just chilling, playing FIFA, and I was the number one. So there you could play on FIFA. You could play like
ranked matches.
Like clubs.
Okay.
So you control one player, but there's 11 teammates with you.
Oh shit! So it's like a multiplayer.
Yeah.
Okay,
This mode could be huge in the pro scene. That's why I'm telling you about EA Sports. They just don't want to.
Yeah.
So you control one player, and your teammates pass you the ball. And it's a team.
They do
it's a virtual team.
So if the goalie wanted to, if I'm playing goalie and I want to fuck around, I can literally go and take off. Oh man.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's this whole thing, dude, and that's one thing that they've go back to the pro scene. They never touched into that. So I was the number one NA striker, like the forward. So I was like, I'm gonna throw this up on YouTube. Why not?
Yeah.
And my brother was like, oh, you should. And my brother was like kind of the one that was like he was into World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And League of Legends.
Yeah.
So he was watching some dude named, you ever heard of Towley? I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I don't remember, no.
Okay, so he's this like World of Warcraft guy, and he was doing it on Justin TV. And my brother was like, check this website out. I looked at it, and he was like, you should try this.
Damn.
You're sick at FIFA.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna try it. And I started on Justin TV, would upload a YouTube video once a week, and
what was the content like back then?
I would play something called Interactive where it was boring, dude. I would just take a team and head to head over and over and over, and then the viewers would come in, and you know how it is in the beginning. It was like 10 people, but they would come in and be like, hey, yo, play with China, play with India, just random teams.
Oh, yeah.
So I would do it. And back then I would say I was better than I am now.
Yeah.
Because back then you have time to play
all
day.
the time in the world.
Yeah,
Same.
dude. Yeah. So I was nice, man. So I would take like China and beat somebody with Real Madrid, and then it went from 10 people to 50 people and 50 people to 100. And then next thing you know, dude, it just kind of took off. And,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still here. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it all started right there.
Do you really don't get it, or do you like, or is it, or you're so appreciative of the fact that you're still here that you sort of feel like saying it's like, I don't get it, but I mean there has to be a level of reason in your.
I know I've always wanted it, right? Like the one thing I will say is I've always said this, like when it comes to like the YouTube scene, not so much anymore, but when it came to like the FIFA YouTube scene, there was me and this dude named Nepenthes, and like Cal Freezy and KSI, we all came up together. I would say we were the hardest working dudes in the room. Like we were dropping 3-4 videos a day, editing ourselves. To this day, I still edit myself.
Yeah, same.
Because I'm just like
except for this.
Yeah, so I'm afraid to let go of the baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You say it all the time. I feel that we connect on that level.
I say that more about Optic than my channel.
Really?
You know, Optic is my baby as opposed to like my channel. My channel like has I mean I've been doing YouTube videos since 2006 and I'm at 961,000. I haven't hit 1 million yet. I've been doing this thing like for like 14 fucking years. It's almost a running joke that I don't talk about because you know whatever. But yeah, no, I completely understand. Matt used to edit my vlogs for a very long time, for about a year.
I was watching them when and then you went back.
Yeah, I don't know, because he's very good. Obviously, at his job, he wouldn't be here because I don't work with people I don't work with slackers, and I don't work with people that I just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's obviously good. He's been, how long have you been with me, Matt? Almost 5 years. Lucky him.
I think it's important to surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah, amen.
It has to be. But yeah, dude, I think that I've always been the hardest. I believe I've been the like hardest working person I can be. And I think that's why I'm here. But when it comes to like understanding why people actually mess with you,
yeah,
that's the hard part.
Yeah,
yeah. For me, it's kind of like
you can't just like it's like, well, I'm I have a good voice.
Yeah,
I'm good at the game.
I don't know what it is. Maybe the fact that I could do
fresh as fuck.
I could do a little bit of all of it. I will say right now, and you've been in this for a long time, I would say this is the biggest transitioning period for content in itself, and it's hard to understand what's happening.
Yeah.
As OGs.
Yeah.
Right, because back then
the algos now are
it's nuts. If you're not dropping algorithm YouTube videos, you're just not hitting.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to, again, let go of what you've always been and done to switch to that because, you know, we've always got over 100K views, 200, 300. Now we're lower. Okay. FIFA in general is lower. But it's because you have to let go of that old stuff and start actually pumping out the algorithm stuff.
And you are, right? Like I see that you're transitioning to more of a, like your second channel. Is that your second channel?
Yeah. So recently, I've always had a hard time finding people to work with.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And this one dude randomly hits me up. He's like, yo, I watch your streams. I'm like, all right. Like, I can help your TikTok. And I'm like, all right. I wasn't doing nothing with the TikTok.
Yeah.
So the homie starts editing. By the way, he wasn't even asking for money, nothing. He just starts going. And this dude's just such a hard worker, man. And the TikTok starts flying. He's like, yo, can I run the second channel and I'll do this stuff? And I was like, yeah, go ahead. So he's kind of helping me almost transition. You know what I mean? Because the new stuff's hard to understand, man. Like I said, when you know the old way so well and the old way switches up, it's hard to understand it.
I don't change my shit for like I get it. I get that if I evolved even a little bit would be better, but I also don't want to change what got me to where I'm at. And
that's my problem.
And the audience is still there. And if this is all that I have, I am so happy.
That's what I say.
Yeah, like the size of the green wall is massive right now, and if it never grows from here, I am okay with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, hope to get bigger, but I am so happy with the way that everything has turned out up until this point that I'm like it's hard for me to. From a personal creative standpoint, right? Like I don't want to change too much because at that point, as an artist of sorts, like I feel like I don't know, like I'm veering too far away from the thing that made me fall in love with this outlet, right?
So me and wifey talk about it all the time. It's one of those things where it's like you could ride the wave. Eventually it's going to come back around. It always comes back around. So there's been so many times YouTube has changed or algorithms have changed and you feel like you're getting pushed out and you panic. So you can do two things. You can completely change who you are and your old audience will be like, it's not you. What happened? But you find new people. But then, the people that helped you get there go away. And I think I would rather stay with the people that helped me get there and see if the wave comes back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, like fashion, I think it has the opportunity to do so, right?
Yeah.
It's always coming back. That's what, I've been dressing the same way since 1997.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've seen the tight pants. I've seen the saggy pants. I've seen all of them like twice already, like 3 times around, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm again, as I said, like as you're going through this, because it's a building process, right? Like we're growing up with YouTube.
Yeah.
Like it's not we didn't come into YouTube like way too late to where like, oh, I'm a YouTuber now and I just started.
Yeah.
My brother Sebas just got into it, right? Like Sebas is he plays Warzone, but super into soccer and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So. But he just started. He just happened to naturally be like, hey, he was doing like some super like those suave, Colombian dudes, shirtless dances and shit, right? Like like fucking stripper. No, okay. But good looking dude, and he was doing that, and he started a second sort of outlet where he was doing the gaming stuff, and that's when he started to take off and. But we've been here for so he didn't really get to see the algorithm changes where
100%.
Where there was categories. Are you in the pet category, in the sports category, in the video game category, music category? And then you got to pick as you were uploading. And if you were smart enough, like White Boy 7th Street or Woody's Gamertag, all these XJoss, all these people from the good old days that they're like, okay, if I upload a video right now and I label it as pets in the pet category, that means that with the amount of fans that I have now, I'm going to go to the trending of this page, so people are gonna click on my shit, on my shit. And those dudes were so innovative back in the day, and I fucking loved it because I was like, at first I'm like, oh, that's kind of scummy, but I'm like, oh my god, that's so genius.
So KSI, right? Yeah. So I used to be in Skype calls with him like 8 hours a day as we worked on videos. Yeah. And what really helped him was he was smart, dude. He was a genius with it. He was making FIFA videos, but they were comedy. Yeah. So he was like, I'm gonna put this in the comedy section.
And it was funny.
And it was funny. It was hilarious. So it made sense him putting in the comedy. And he did that, and that's what, you get me? So just where you put your stuff was so important. Now it's about just dropping shorts. Yeah. Like you can literally become popular
on shorts
overnight now with TikTok, with shorts, with TikToks. Like that's the wave now, man. Making viral type short content is the wave. So I don't know how long this wave lasts, but why it lasts, if you're listening, you want to get in, do it.
It's gonna be here for a fucking long ass time.
It has to be, right?
Because YouTube right now feels like it's got to compete with TikTok.
Yep.
Facebook feels like they got to compete with TikTok, and it's short form content. It's like if you think about Jack from Twitter and the people that launched Vine. Like, I wonder how they feel about it, right? I mean, obviously they're billionaires, so I guess they don't give a fuck. But the fact that Vine was sort of sunsetted and everybody went away from it, like, and then TikTok comes in as Musical.ly or TikTok, there has to be a little bit of regret.
Oh my god! So it reminds me of that. I remember like the dude Kanye, right? I don't really like him because of what he's going on about, but I remember he had a song and he sat on the song for like 6 years because he said people weren't ready for it yet. And when he dropped it, it was the song Lights or something. It goes crazy. It's kind of like Vine. They were ahead of their time. Mm-hmm. If they wait a couple years, they would have been TikTok. There has to be regret, dude.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's like
there has to be, because they got it right. They would have been, oh man, because TikTok must be milking.
All right, pardon the interruption, but I have to tell you about today's sponsors, Shopify. If you don't know, Shopify is the e-commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses, whether it's a small business or a massive, massive business. As you guys know, as I always say, we've been using Shopify since the beginning of the HECZ quarter, so close to 5 years now. And whether you're selling leashes like my wife is for dogs, or you're selling mini walls like the one that you see right there, like I am, we do that from there. Apparel, obviously that's the easy one to sell. Hats is the easy one to talk about. But if you're an artist and you have you have an inkling for being able to create stuff with your hands that you should out there, you should use Shopify, because Shopify simplifies selling online and in person so that you can focus successfully on growing your business, because it covers every sales channel, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform. It even lets you sell across social media marketplaces like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Packed with industry-leading tools ready to ignite your growth, Shopify gives you a complete control over your business and your brand without having to learn any new skills in design or code, which is obviously the website. Super, super tough. So super easy plugging, and thanks to their 24/7 help and extensive business course library, Shopify is here to support your success every step of the way. Now is your turn to get serious about selling and try Shopify today. What's incredible to me about Shopify is how no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify is there to empower you to get the confidence and control to revolutionize your business and get it and take it to the next level. So sign up now for $1 a month as a trial period at shopify.com/eavesdrop. That's EAVESDROP, all lowercase. Make sure that it's all lowercase. I'll leave the link in the description down below so that you can only pay $1 during your trial period. Go to shopify.com/eavesdrop. Take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com, EAVESDROP. All will be linked in the description down below, and all lowercase. Oh, yeah. But I don't really see ads on TikTok. I mean, every so often I do see them, and I do spend a lot of time on TikTok. That's how I fall asleep now.
Oh, I think, dude.
So either I'm having UFO dreams or Mexican construction worker dreams. Chill. Comedy-wise, you know what I mean? I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the short, pudgy ones that are common, not the super buff, hot ones.
What's up with the UFO obsession, bro? Because Castro was obsessed with. Is this like a Texas thing? Y'all obsessed with UFOs?
No, well, we were both from Chicago.
I know. Yeah, he told me the story how y'all ended up here and like didn't even really.
Bro, no, that one was like the weirdest shit ever though too, because I came across him when he got sponsored by Scuff, and I was like, I'm like this dude's from fucking. He's one of those Mexicans from Cicero and shit. Cicero's a place in Chicago.
Okay.
And you know, when we sort of started talking, he's like, no, I'm from Schaumburg, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, I ride my bike right next to your house like all the time. I've seen you like, and I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean? He's like, yeah, I'm from Schaumburg, in the same neighborhood. I'm like, get the fuck out, like literal same block,
unbelievable,
in Schaumburg. And then we started collabing. He came out. He was part of a big ball soccer smooth competition thing that we did.
Yeah.
And always been cool, you know. The you know, his wife, my wife, you know, they talk and shit.
Yeah, good people.
Yeah, really cool people.
Yeah,
and one day he tweets out, "I was like moving to Frisco," and I was like, we'd been talking for a month that we're moving to Texas. Right? I was born in Texas. I was sick of the fucking cold in Chicago. Like look at the skin I'm in. I'm not supposed to be in those harsh weather environments. So to this day, I talk shit to my parents for kidnapping me and taking me to the coldest place on earth. But yeah, I was like, I texted him like, yo, what the fuck? We're in Frisco. And then he's like, oh, here. And I was like, bro, we're moving to Frisco next month. He's like, get the fuck out, bro. It was
unbelievable.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's fucking wild.
The fact that he hasn't joined Optic, you know, it's like what's going on?
I thought that would have happened a long time ago.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you. It just made sense. But one day, it's in the works, right?
Yeah, hopefully. You know, the thing there too is like we have a good relationship, right? And Optic, to me, like, you know, we're very picky as to like who, and it's not a matter of like whether or not somebody's good or not, or like what we're looking for at a time or whatever. It's just, I like to keep my team small because it's easier to develop a meaningful relationship that helps Optic become what Optic is. As you can probably see, like everybody that's here, like Joey's been with me since he was he started his Optic Update back in like fucking almost 10 years ago, right? Just on his own, started doing that, and you know, he became big enough, and I'm like, boom, you're coming with us. He said no to me first, the fuck. And when you tell me no once, I never ask you again. But he got lucky, let him back in.
For everybody listening, I said it's in the works. I don't actually mean it's in the works. I'm saying like their friendship and stuff. You know what I mean?
We're always asking him.
You know, let's I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. And Hitch is always like, yo, let's pick up Castro. And I'm like, let's not complicate an already good relationship. Like, you know, because I don't want to pay somebody to be a part of Optic. I want to pay them for the work that they do for Optic, but I'm not gonna pay somebody to join the coolest motherfucking team in the fucking world. You know what I mean? Period. Yeah. It just never felt right with me. Which is why I kept everybody. I mean, everybody that's been with me has been with me for over a decade now.
Yeah, it's a long time.
You know, if Nate Shad wouldn't have fell in love and, you know, decided to, you know, go out to the West Coast, he'd still be here.
Yeah.
But that's just like, again, it's something that my brain disallows me to just pick up somebody because they have a massive following. Like, it just doesn't fit. I'd rather work with people on their way up. Yeah. If they fit a program that we're trying to, you know, sort of.
Well, I think y'all go with the how do you say it, man? You guys kind of kept it like original, right? Because that's how like original like crews and stuff started back then. You know, you brought in people that you were close with. You see a lot of companies now, they pick up people and it just doesn't work out, and they're paying a lot of money and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't. Again, you know, for me, I don't like to talk about other people's businesses because who am I to say how somebody should make a living or whatever. But sometimes I'm like, man, I just don't see myself be you know doing that, especially when we again. Castro always collabs, and we just had dinner downstairs like a couple of days ago, just shooting the shit, and I'm like, yo, every single time that you go out and shoot your real life videos, like, why don't you fucking give us a call? Like, we'd love to be. He's like, I don't want to bother anybody. I'm like, now I'm offended, motherfucker. Like, we're boys. You're gonna don't want to bother me about something?
Nah, but dude, like, I would consider myself pretty damn cool with Castro. I still. Like it's hard, man. When you're like a content creator and like you don't want ever to feel that someone feels like you're like hitting them up for something different. Because you don't want to mess up the friendship. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I've always been that way too, dude. To this day, like even like with my boy KSI, I've known him for years, bro. And to be able to just hit it, sometimes it's like, dude, they're gonna think I'm doing this. You know what I mean? So maybe that's what he means. You know, you never know, dude. It's just how you look at the content.
I'm like, motherfucker, I'm the best sidekick you could ever have on camera. You know what I mean? I'm like we are all very good about turning it on for whoever's video we're shooting. Like we know the deal, and we love to do this thing. Like it's not work for us, right? And it's the biggest secret about this thing is that if you set out
Yeah.
today to be like, I want to be a YouTuber, it's like, wow, well, I see the glamour and all that shit. Like, you're already failing, because if you're creating and your reward is the creation that you did and you made somebody smile, you made somebody like fucking be interested in your content, that's the reward that you get.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing I'll say. I've never, as long as I've been in this whole thing, as long as I've been doing it, I've never looked at. If you ask me right now how much the YouTube channel was making a month, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Because I've never looked at that side of it. Right, I've always done it because, this is the content I want to make. This is what I want to enjoy. This is what I want to put out.
Yeah.
I've never looked at that side.
Nah.
Like, I never really, like, you know what I mean? Like hitting 1 million was always like, oh, let's hit 1 million subs, let's do this. But it was something I never really, I never really pushed for that. It's just, if you just put content out because you're loving it, that's what it's about.
Like, look, Hitch obviously has his the Team Summertime. You'd think Blake and George would have joined Optic? No, I'm kidding. But I will say this though, because of the friendship, like, that's easier for me to be like, fuck yeah, they're part of course, right. And obviously they're great content creators. They just they're doing that. But whether or not they were good content creators or not, like, that's something that we can train and you can sort of develop into, because being a content creator is not necessarily about how you. And I'm not saying that they don't overreact sometimes, like shaking his head, but it's like it's about dialing it up a little bit. But it's like if you are not the person that you are in real life on camera, it's got to be so taxing.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
and that's one thing. I'll be honest with you. I went through like a week where, like, because you gotta scream over like packs. That's what and again the trend's changing. Yeah, there was a week where, like, you had to go like, not a week. There was a time in FIFA where you had to just go crazy when you packed something. Yeah, and that was never me. And I tried it for like a week, and I was like, I just can't do it. No, I couldn't fake it, man. No, so I just went back to what I did, and the wave came back around eventually, and it worked. So again, man, you just gotta be yourself. You gotta be yourself and do it because. For something, whatever that, for me, it was just, I don't know what it was, dude. Yeah. I just always, I don't know if I got addicted to, like, the numbers, not the money, but like the numbers of reading comments.
I understand. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I think maybe that's what kept me going, but I don't know.
I think we've always done a very good job of, like, going out of our way to not do that, right? Like, I value creativity more than anything, because I know that being good at coming up with ideas is more valuable than anything else out there. Like, even as a businessman, I don't think that I'm not qualified to be a businessman. I never went to school for that, but because of my imagination and the way that I looked at things, it gave me a leg up above all the other fucking businessmen that were in my space. Like, it was just easy for me. That's why Hitch started as a fan, but because of, when he pitched me what he wanted to do, I'm like, it's exactly the way that I'm thinking about things. Like, come on through, and, obviously, like, massive member of Optic. Yeah, I
mean, you've done pretty good for yourself on the business side, right?
I have. And again, it's because I enforce it, dude. I didn't go out there and say, like, when Rob from Guggen says, hey, I'm trying to do this, I didn't go into it and say, oh my God, it's gonna be $100 million company, which it is. Yeah. But we didn't. It was just like, oh, fishing content. I'm like, oh, I'd love to be a part of that. Yeah, of course, and give them a little bit of advice. But all the work gets done by those dudes. Every time I talk about them, I always make it a point to say that I had nothing to do with their success except for, we just talked about something, but the work was done by them. 100%. So yeah, again, people have to value creativity enough to understand that if you can think of things outside the box, you already have a leg up on everybody else, because 100%. They don't do anything else besides analyze a business that's already worked in that space and try to replicate and emulate how they did it. Yeah. So that's
and again, man, maybe that's why we're still here. Mm-hmm. We try to do stuff that way, and maybe that's what keeps us around. And trying to do stuff other people's way maybe that's how you die out. Because I mean, you've been here for a long time. We've seen so many people come and go. Yeah, so many people come and go. And,
the machinima class of 2010. There's a few of us, right? There's a few of us left that are still like grinding it out and doing what we like to do. And I'm not saying that what we do here is like fucking special. It's special to us and it's special to our fans.
Of course.
But we never go out of the way to go and tell everybody, the world's like, guys, we're more special than somebody else. Come look at us. Yeah. It just bothers me a little bit.
I think I've never, within FIFA, I've never been the biggest, but I've always been close, but I never wanted to be the biggest. No, I want to be the biggest to me, and to my audience, and what I can do. And trying to be the biggest and chasing that is tough, man.
There's something to be said about appreciating the level of popular that you are on the internet, because if you go too far, then you're not living a normal life, and that is the last thing that I want to fucking do.
Man, I vlogged for a long time, and during the vlogs, they were doing really, really good. It was a second channel, and during that time, it was me and wifey. We would vlog all the time, and there was one point where I felt myself getting caught up in it, the comments and like trying to. Because I saw what Logan was doing, and I was like, oh man, this type of content. And I caught myself getting caught up in it, and we just had to take a step back and be like, yo, that's just not us. Because the moment you get lost in that world, oh my God, dude, you just lose yourself.
I've vlogged for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Like every single day. On the first year, I only missed, I think, 3 days. And on the second year, I missed 7 days. And then after that, when Casey Neistat retired from vlogging, I retired from vlogging.
I love that guy.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't?
That guy was amazing.
Yeah. I tell you that if he would have never quit, I don't think that I would have quit either.
Yeah.
I so heartily believe that if he wouldn't have been, because I'm like, I saw him and I'm like, that's the level that's the level of commitment that I want to have for fucking something. And I appreciated the fact that he was like me on the side, being a businessman and building a business while still being a creative in the space that we do. That he did. So for me, it was like when he announced that he was retiring, I was like, I completely understood. Wasn't as a fan, I wasn't mad, and I was like, I completely understood. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna quit. But eventually, I ended up quitting, and I still vlog to this day, but it's this
random.
I just my lifestyle now, because of the business and all that stuff, like. It gets a little bit tougher to come up with an idea that's going to be that. Yeah. And I'm not saying that my ideas were like his, because mine was just a daily, like a daily, what do you call it? A diary, a daily diary of what happened the day before.
Yeah, that's what ours was.
Yeah. It wasn't like, let's build something today and let's pitch this today or whatever. It's just that.
Yeah. We were vlogging, and we were doing like kind of like the sports stuff, playing soccer, doing all that, and then stuff just kind of when you're trying to hide the bad stuff. Don't show the viewers all the crazy stuff going behind the scenes. And our life was going through a couple up and downs, and that's when, it was the same time when Casey was stopping. And then we ended up just being like, yo, let's take a break from this, and then to get back to it, we never did.
Yeah, no, the creative outlet that this YouTube thing provided for me is one of those things that I'll never be able to express how thankful I am of it, because growing up as a graffiti writer and then completely quitting that to be a corporate dude because my career was going great in the mortgage industry and the banking industry, and then recession happens and YouTube is there for me as not just as a job, but as a creative outlet.
Right.
Like, man, it was like the best thing for me.
100%. It's you get to do things you never thought you could do in your life. Yeah. Right. I never thought I would achieve all this. I mean, I thought I would do something in my life, but this, knock it off. Like, I never.
You're gonna get paid to have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible.
Yeah, getting paid to have fun, to be able to like take care of the moms and make sure the family's good. That's just something that in my lifetime I never thought that I would. I thought my father owned a construction company. Used to do pool decks. Yeah. So I was like, that's where I'm going. Yeah. I know where I'm going.
So if you weren't doing this, do you think that'd be your career?
100%. That's what Portuguese people do. That's what we know, right?
Portuguese people build ports?
Nah, pools.
Oh, pools.
Yeah, like the pool deck around. We do concrete. We're concrete workers, man. So I thought, okay, that's where I'm going. That's where all my uncles went. That's where my dad went. And I was like, okay, that's where I'm going. My brother was doing it when he told me to do Justin TV, which turned into Twitch. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to be that 100%. Yeah. And then this happened, and like
there was no money to be made back then either, right?
Nothing.
You were just doing it because of the
yeah. There was no money, and the thing is, if you took money on Twitch, you were a sellout, bro. My God. You could not take a donation.
Yeah.
You could not take a donation. You took a donation, you were criticized.
Dude, you're not doing it for the love of this thing. Your videos suck now. Luckily, we never had that problem. Jericho, fucking White Boy 73, Extra, I was like, all of those motherfuckers were getting called sellouts. Like, fuck, it's like, you guys are only doing it for the money. And blah, blah. And yes, it was a big part of it because but there was an exchange there. Like, they were working their ass hard as fuck. Like, Extras was the first person that I heard that made $50,000 in 1 month.
Really?
And this was 2011. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck yeah, this thing's working. This thing's going to go to the fucking moon. and it's still going to the moon, right? But they were getting fucking chewed up.
One time I took a card on the game. Someone transferred me a card on the game, and my chat went, it was like 20 people, but to me, that was a lot of people at the time. It is a lot. They were going crazy. They were like, oh man, you can't do that. You can't take stuff from people. And nowadays,
why?
They were just no donations, dude. Whether it was in the game, whether it was money, it was people just frowned upon that back then. And now it's like
if you don't, then now it's the opposite.
You're weird.
Yeah, it's like, I don't give a fuck how creative you are. If you're not fucking making money, you suck.
Yeah,
right?
but that's what
funny.
What me and wifey talk about all the time. It kind of switched with like with Banks, FaZe Banks and Rice Gum. It was almost the cool thing to almost flaunt.
You think that's when it happened?
I want to say it was around like whatever time. Remember when they were kind of like they had like their run? I forget what year it was, but I think that's
Banks still fucking running.
Oh, he's still killing it. No, but I mean like the kind of run on YouTube where they were kind of like there was Jake Paul beef going on, all that stuff. I think that's when it became almost cool to start flaunting like the Lambos, the bags, the shoes. Yeah. Because before that, you weren't flexing.
Nah.
You had some nice shoes. You weren't even showing them.
Yeah, I think that's also like a Midwest thing for us too. Is like we're flashy. Don't get us wrong, but we're also it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't Hollywood. It was more like so it's like I don't know how to explain it. We got lucky there.
It makes sense for
the
LA guys to kind of start the flex up because remember, dude, but even when we started making money, you couldn't tell people. Like if you told, no one talked about how much money YouTubers made. No one said a word, yo. That it was just.
I was sorry to interrupt, but I also think that it has to do with the audience because Call of Duty but this is what I mean because in Call of Duty because Jericho and those boys were playing that they still got fucking roasted for it, right? But for us, for some reason, we never ran into the problem. I remember Jericho saying it's like, yeah, it's okay for fucking someone, a pro player, whether it's Scump or somebody else, Nation, it's okay for them to make money, but God forbid I get a fucking $20,000 stream, blah, blah, blah. But it changed for the better.
What do you, since you've been around for so long, what do you think is the hardest community? Like, because I've always thought the COD community, when they got on you. And the FIFA community is pretty tough as well.
Well, yeah, I think any community is hard to get along with if you don't get to know them.
Yeah, true.
Luckily for us from the beginning, we were all like video. I tell this story all the time, but I'll tell it to you because I don't think whatever. My intent from the beginning was it was going to be me, C-Nanners, Hutch, and Tabe that were going to go compete at an MLG event. We weren't going to win. We play Call of Duty every single day, but we were not going to beat the pro players.
Right.
But I can guarantee you that we would have sold more T-shirts than them.
Okay.
Right?
So that was the mindset.
Easy. That was the mindset. We're going to sell more T-shirts. We're going to be the most popular team there.
Yeah.
Look at our audience. These motherfuckers don't even have a fucking YouTube channel or fucking Twitch.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then I'm like, well, instead of trying to turn influencers or YouTubers into professionals, why don't I give the professionals a shot at becoming, entertainers? Right. And luckily for me that's the way it went. And then I carried that through the entirety of our career. And it was, still to this day, Bobby Poff, Sebas, Z-Laner, the Boltest sisters, if you look at, if you put them aside, every single one of our creators played professional at one point except for Hitch.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Because Hitch hasn't won a tournament like I have. River City's finest.
You threw a little
3v3 hardcore tournament. Nah,
he ain't even see it. Yeah,
he's good.
Nah, I think that was a smart way to build it, right? It's a smart way because you have both. That's the one thing I got lucky with. I got to see both sides. You got to see the pro sides. So you get to appreciate both sides and understand the work. I will say one thing, one thing people don't understand is why don't, if you have such a big audience, why not play the pro scene? The dedication the pro scene takes, you can't edit videos. No. There's no time for that. No. Before I was, when I was nice at FIFA, I was editing a video, but I wasn't spending time streaming. I was just editing a video. Video, quick video, edit that up, and then just spend all day playing FIFA.
But it's not a quick video though.
It's not a quick
video, but it's not a quick
edit. But you kind of get in your rhythm, and once that's done, then you could just play FIFA all day. Yeah. And you're nice at it. But when you have to stream 5-6 hours a day, then do a video, where's the time to actually be focused on the art? So I give pro players, they're because there's both ways are hard, man. Being a content creator, being a pro,
bro.
Both are tough.
To this day, people are like, you guys shouldn't be fuck content. You guys shouldn't be creating. They should be playing fucking. They lost because of content, and it's not all of them, right? There's the squeaky wheels, fucking losers, right? That don't understand. They don't even follow us some of the time,
right?
But people don't understand that if we didn't go above and beyond to create that content, it's not just Optic that becomes uninteresting. It's the entire Call of Duty scene that becomes uninteresting because of the amount of fans that we bring to this scene.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I get the pros like get it, right? But it is sometimes they'll bring that up. It'll be like, well, how good would they be if they didn't have the pressure of being on Optic? Right?
Yeah.
It's one of the latest things. But again, if they didn't, like none of this would be here. If all we cared about was this, Optic wouldn't be where it's at today.
100%.
Call of Duty wouldn't be.
No, you see it with a lot of orgs.
Competitively,
there's orgs like y'all that have won and that are very, very popular. Then there's orgs that are very good at winning, but becoming popular is what they're trying to do now. And it's tough, dude. It's hard to find that balance.
Because like, how do they pay? Like, if investors never came into this, like, how would they pay for those? For those players,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the main reasons why originally I sold Optic, is because I'm like, people, I get it now, but in the time I was like, man, they're not playing fair. They're just playing with other people's money.
Yeah.
I'm over here fucking busting our asses to get a sponsorship to expand this one other team, where people just came in and gave millions to these fucking organizations with no fucking return to this fucking day.
Yeah, it's right? Esports is hard, man. I think people
to some teams.
Well, it's tough, dude. It's tough.
I hear that and I'm like, well, I don't know about that.
But when you look at it, like it's a hard thing to get returns on, and that's why having the content creation part is so important, and having people that are dedicated to the org and wanting to see the org succeed. If you can find people that want to succeed themselves and also have the org succeed, that's a person you keep around, because it's hard. You
can't fit in this Optic program if Optic isn't the first thing on your mind.
Yeah,
because you will be successful.
Yeah,
but you have to care about the mothership. You know, because again, this mothership isn't an employer. This is a fucking gang. It's some team shit. You know what I mean? Something that people can have like good beliefs behind.
Yeah,
and I romanticize about it a lot, right? Like I do think about this thing the way that I would like as a fan of Optic, I would like to see this.
Yeah.
And then I go out and do that and reshape. We don't alter the reality of what we do, but we do turn it up a little bit, and we present it a way that's interesting enough. We can make an announcement, but it's not as interesting as the story leading up to that announcement, or how the pause behind the announcement.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I before I joined Complexity, I wanted to org so bad. Because I saw what all y'all were doing. I was like, damn, orgs.
Why didn't you reach out?
Well, no, I'm saying I wanted to own an org.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? I wanted to own an org. I wanted to, because I was like, oh man, FIFA, this space, it's blowing up. Because at 17, it was blowing up. And that's when my wife actually met our manager. And then our manager kind of was like, yo, what do you want? First time I talked to him.
How long have you two been together?
Babe, when did we meet? We've been 8 years now. 8 years. So it's been a
Just got married last year?
Last year.
Congrats, man.
Yeah,
I see the big band. I couldn't do the big one.
Nah, I just got a rubber one, dude. She was like, you got to get a nice one when we go out. I just can't really, I don't really do good with rings.
No? Me either. I just started wearing this about a year ago.
Really?
Yeah. It was getting too much, man. People were looking at me women were looking at me like a piece of meat. I'm like, I'm taking.
Yeah.
Goddamn it, back up off me.
Yeah, I forget mine all the time, and then I get the look.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
From who? From her?
Or? Yeah. I get the. She says, "So where's your ring?" And I'm like, "Oh, I just took a shower." But I always forget to put it on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been together for 8 years, and we did it. We're Catholic. We're religious. So we we did everything else the wrong way, where we lived together the whole time, because we met and then we're living together probably a month in.
Oh, awesome.
So like 7 years, we're gonna have kids soon.
You guys met back in.
So we met off of Twitch.
Okay.
So I'm chilling one day, and randomly, I always play FIFA, dude. I never play nothing else.
So your wife, name?
Lots of bunnies. She's a Twitch Raven.
Twitch.
Raven is her name, but she's lots of bunnies. She's a Twitch content creator. So I'm always on FIFA, dude. And for some reason, I get on H1Z1. Right? This was like the time of H1Z1. Yeah. So I get on, and I'm running around H1Z1, and I'm like, role playing, messing around, and there's this girl, and I'm like hollering at this girl, right? And then my chat thinks that it's her, actual streamer. They're like, oh, she's streaming. Yeah. And then I'm chilling with this other girl that's a YouTuber. Her name is Fang. She does FIFA. And she stumbles upon her stream, and she goes, oh, she's pretty. She said, check her out. So I go there. I'm like, oh, wow. But it wasn't actually her.
Wow. It wasn't her?
No, it wasn't her. So anyways, it ends there. Nothing ever comes of it. We DM'd one time. And then my grandfather passed in like July of whatever year that was. And I was about to get a dog. And she like...
Yeah, just pause real quick. The wholesome, oh, wow, when you saw her.
Yeah, right.
That's very good.
So I was like, oh wow,
good
right?
Story.
So
well, it wasn't. You said, oh wow. Like, it was like, oh.
So we left it there, dude. And then the grandfather passed away. She reached out. She's like, sorry about your grandfather. And then I was like, hey, I'm interested in getting a dog. And we started talking about dogs. And then the rest just kind of went from there. She ends up coming out when I have like all these like YouTubers coming to my house, in the Pen Fest, a bunch of people. And she came out and then she never wanted to leave again, man. I just, boom, you know what I mean? You know
Great story.
Yeah, and then like a couple years later, I asked her to marry me. We're married now, and I think the big thing for us about getting married was like we want kids. We want to kind of do it that way. So yeah, man, for us it was, you know, a lot of people nowadays don't want to get married. They want to.
There's no need for that. I mean, obviously, if you're religious, obviously, like there's implications there, and I believe in family and doing things the right way. But like my wife and I have been together for like 20 something.
Yeah.
21. Yeah. I was 21. She was 19. But I've known her when I was 6, when she was 14. Like that's the first time I met her because her brother's like still to this day a very good friend of mine, one of my best friends. But yeah, I was like, yo, hook me up with your sister, yo. And he's like, fuck you, B. And I was like, all right, bet. All right, anyway, but we met when she was 14, and then we started dating when I was 21, she was 19.
Nice.
And now we're in our 40s.
Yeah, like
with a 13-year-old and 8 dogs. Oh my God, 7.
You do have a lot of dogs. Yeah, one just passed. That's tough, man.
My best friend.
I know.
I don't want to talk about it.
That was tough.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but sorry about that. But yeah, no, marriage is. We've been married. I say that to her all the time, dude. Like, once you pass like the first couple years of living together,
once you're committed,
you're in it, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Once you're committed, to each other, that's it.
Yeah. We did the whole thing for, you know, to kind of just be able to like have kids and spend the rest of our lives together. But we've been married for a long time, dude.
Good.
That's how I look at it. So once you're committed, once you're in it, you're in it. You know how that goes. So yeah, man, that's my story of getting married. But yeah, so wifey, you know, brings me a manager, and then it's history.
Love it. Well, I appreciate you giving me your history, man. I hope that this isn't the last time that you come on.
Nah, for sure.
I didn't know when you guys first came that she was also a creator, so I didn't get a picture of her for the wall.
Yeah.
You're like on the first 2 panels, which is like fucking OG as it gets here at the HECZ quarters.
Let's go.
But yeah, man, I do appreciate you taking the time.
Of course.
It took us 4 years to get here. Let's keep it rolling. Yeah, man. How's life over at Complexity?
Good. Yeah, man. I like it over there, man. They're the reason I'm in Texas now. So
okay, cool.
It's a dub, you know.
Cool. How often do you guys go over to create content and shit?
I want to do a lot more. You know what I mean? I definitely want to do a lot more. So hopefully that happens in the future. But yeah, man, Complexity's been good to us, man.
Cool. Yeah. Shout out Jason Lake. That's my boy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, all of his information is gonna be in the description down below. Make sure that you follow him. And again, man, thank you so much. Appreciate you. We'll keep in touch. Back at you, man. Back at you. Sure. All right, guys. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you to my mans for coming out. And we'll see you guys next time. Matt, hit him with the music.